Welcome back to the permaculture plant paradise. It's the beginning of autumn and it's really time for an update video. I'm here where I made a fire break which will become my road, which I have been consistently keeping short. Also, I've started to create another road going into the land to the west. Following my eastern border wall is this road going to the north, down, and on the left I am starting to make a new road which will go to the center of the plot, and I'll show you why. I've been using my little excavator to remove all of the rocks that are in the way and flatten out this part. Later I will be able to coat it with a layer of wood chips, so it's a nice wood chip road. So here we are in the middle of the land, and we are right on top of the dough line in the middle, which is right here, which is the sinkhole. And here on top of this dough line I am going to make a water catchment system. I've been stacking rocks in a V shape with a 90-degree angle, so this can catch a lot of water with the tarp and then guide the water into a reservoir right there. I still have a lot of work to do here and expand this wall in order to make a nice catchment area, but that's going to be beautiful, and then the water can flow right down. This new pathway will form a border between the lower section and the higher section of my property. Here in the lower section, all around my big sinkhole, I want to be cultivating my food forest. And this road will become the border which I will fence out all around the dough line so that the plants will be safe from wildlife. Leaving the water catchment area, going back to the west, here you can see I made a split in the road. Eventually I want to have lots of little pathways flowing through the land. This split pathway will end up into the main road, and here you can see I've been wood chipping part of it. There's my little excavator. Nice job, little excavator. I'll show you what it looks like from on top of my excavator. So here you can see that my road will become a little wiggly line all the way to the top. And here at the bottom I still have a lot of work to do. Here you can clearly see I've been working hard on clearing out a lot of the bushland, and I cleared out a nice section here on the east side of my dough line. Here we are at my massive hugelkultur, which is going really great, and I've been adding loads of branches and leaves and everything on top of there, as well as keep to build the wall higher and higher. You can see the wood under there is covered more and more and more with hay, leaves, grass, branches and everything, which will eventually flatten out to become a massive pile of earth. Near my first massive hugelkultur, I am starting a second smaller hugelkultur, which is simply a straight line. This hugelkultur pile is parallel with my dough line wall. It's not really on a downgrade, so it's not really a swale, but it will be a nice place for growing. I've also been consistently cutting away all of the new growth that has been popping up during the summer to keep it nice and short. I spent a bunch of days pushing over all of the burnt trees and making piles of them, and there's even a bigger pile. Although I still have a lot of trees to do, I collected a lot of the burnt trees here on a nice pile, so that's going to be a couple days of wood chipping. My forest living room had got some upgrades, some new chairs, a table and a beautiful big old shade. Here in my vegetable field I collected some hay bales which will overwinter here, and then in the spring I can plant some plants directly into the hay bales, which will eventually turn into mulch and soil. Because there's really barren ground here and not so much topsoil, using hay bales is an excellent way. I don't have enough for the whole field, but maybe next spring I'll get more. Things are really growing over here, lots and lots of greenery coming up that I need to constantly take down. I had to get a new electric wood chipper because the old one broke down. This one's doing pretty good. I've also started to clean up some more paths and make some more borders with some nice rocks. The biggest and straightest tree trunks I've collected, and using a draw knife I can make them into poles for the fence. And I'm about halfway through the pile. Here I also made a little rock border wall. It's still gonna take a whole lot of time and maybe a couple years of cover crops before this whole field is ready for fruit trees. But I already want to start planting, so what I'm gonna do is make a hole. Using my trusty pickaxe next to my wood chip path, I already started to make a hole, and in this hole I will fill it completely with nice compost and earth and some wood chips and some coffee and a whole lot of good stuff, so I can directly plant my fruit tree in there. You can see how much stone is in the ground. It's just practically all stone. So I'm just gonna take my time to dig out a little extra of these stones, because the deeper I can add nice earth, the better the tree can grow, and the higher the tree can grow as well. In my little trailer I have a bunch of bags of used coffee that I got from the city somewhere, and underneath that is a bunch of dirt that I dug up somewhere. I need to fill up my wheelbarrow and take it all the way down, so I think I'll just do a bit of coffee and a bit of dirt at the same time and then mix it up down there. Here goes the first load of coffeed earth. So what I'll do is a load of wood chip and a load of soil, and then a load of wood chip and a load of soil. So I'll get a nice fungally dominated pile. So I'm pretty much making a wood and soil lasagna in a hole. I also have an old manure compost pile which I'll add to my hole. That's some nice compost. The hole is filling up really nicely. This will be the last layer of wood chip, and then it'll be only soil and compost. Alright, that's one hole completely filled until the brim. But I will make a nice stone wall around it, fill it a little bit extra, then it's time to plant. Alright, it's a new morning, I got a new load. This one is full of coffee and a little bit of soil. Time to bring it down and fill up the hole further. Look at all that beautiful coffee, guys. There's a lot of nitrogen in this stuff, so that's really great for the plants. Alright, now I'm trying to fill up the edges with some more rocks to raise the bed a bit higher, and then keep filling it up. I'm trying to find some stones to place along the border to make a nice wall and raise up the bed a little more. Alright, that's done. Alright, we're all done with this bed, and now I'll just clear around the perimeter to make some wood paths, and then the next day we can put some plants in there. I'm back at home here at my collection of fruiting plants, and now we have to make a selection of what we're going to plant in my food forest. I got 50 to 60 varieties of fruiting plants here. This is my table full of fig propagations. But I'm not going to plant any figs in my new place, but I do want to plant 2 fruit trees and a couple of smaller shrubs and vines. I will choose one of the larger trees that I have here to plant out in my forest. And my first choice will be this beautiful king white mulberry. It's doing pretty nicely, its shape is really good, and it's ready for the soil. And my second choice for the tree is this peach tree. Gotta love peaches. I have a bunch of vine plants growing here, so what I want to do is create a structure where the vines can grow into, right next to my new growing place. So I'm going to select a couple vines. I actually have 6 types of kiwi growing here, so I will plant out 1 or 2 of them. And this purple giant passion fruit will also get a place in the food forest. Alright, I have finished making my selection of plants. I got 9 plants here. Alright, in the back here we have 3 vines, 2 kiwis and 1 passion fruit. Then we have our king white mulberry tree in the middle here, flanked by 2 bushes. One of them is a josta berry and the other ones are blueberries. And then we have our peach tree right here, and then 2 nice small desert plants. One is agave and one is aloe vera. For morning at my permaculture paradise, I took my little trailer and I got the plants right here with me. Now it's time to take them down. Hooray! The first food of the food forest. Alright, the plants are down and they're on their place. This is what it looks like. It's super nice. In the back you can see also the steel frame that I'll use to make the growing platform for the vines. Now it's time to dig some holes, remove the pots and put the plants in the ground. All of the 9 new plants are planted, looking really nice. In the background you can see I got a square steel frame, which I will place on top of the back ledge right there and then support with 2 wooden beams, leaning slightly to the back. A little bit of water to let them get used to their new home. Alright, now I need to organize this. It's a cold windy morning and I have here a nice big log that is long enough to support the frame for the kiwis. And now I'm going to chop it up with the chainsaw and make it nice. Alright, we have 2 poles over there which have to be put into the ground, and that means I gotta make some holes using my pickaxe. I've got the poles in the ground and they're propped up against the metal frame. I made some notches in the top and temporarily put it with string. Now I'll use metal wire to fix them. Now I'm going to fill up this wall and build around the steel so it secures the bottom. Alright, this rear wall is complete and it's encapsulating the bottom piece of the steel nicely. The wooden supports are on their place, temporarily fixed. And now it's time to clean up this, fill in the holes, and then put some wires. Now it's time to permanently attach the wooden post to the metal frame. I'm going to use some little screws and screw them in. I got this nice thin metal wire, which I'll also use to make the wire across the frame, but first I'm going to use it to tie up the top. So I'm wrapping this wire over the side and along the top to secure it, and then eventually we'll get something like this, a nice lasting bond. I've decided to just do them one by one because it's a big mess to try to do it all in one go. So I'm folding them around this pole, tying them off with a nice little knot. Opa. Alright, that's all done and finished. Now to wait for next spring so the plants can climb up. Well, that's it for this episode. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.